Hey everyone, it's the Bushido Viking here. I Twitch stream. This is from my YouTube channel, and I reached rank 20 and Gwent, and I finally did it because I really wanted to get Arid as the avatar, and I wanted to hit Master in Gwent. And I posted in Gwent Masters Worldwide, which is a Facebook group that I'm actually a moderator on, and someone had asked me, "Hey, could you show us the decks that you reached rank 20 with?" And usually I don't post my screenshots of my decks or anything like that because I already stream. So if like someone wanted to see me play, they could go look at my old videos, or they could just watch me, stream currently. But I decided to just do a short video here because I haven't honestly posted to YouTube in a little while, especially not since the Midwinter update. And I figured I could post it in the group anyway, so this made a lot of sense. So how did I reach rank 20? Well, I'll show you the decks I did. Before I go into that, though, I do want to say that, right now the meta is just. Sorry, the hammer's bugging me. I want to say that the meta is kind of all over the place still right now. I mean, we're seeing dwarves everywhere, and then we're seeing consume monsters become a thing again, and then, Skellige Bear was a big thing, and everyone's running Siri Nova, but now, people aren't really running it as much, and they don't think it's as big of a problem as it was, and then, Axeman is now a thing again, and yeah. So I just want to show you what I ended up running and explain it a little bit. So let's go into my decks. So once again, I have footage of me playing all of these decks anyways, so if you wanted to see it, you could see it on my Twitch, twitch.tv/Bushido Viking. But what I did was, so my main one was actually a Relic deck. Relic is actually a really, really fun archetype, and it's not nearly as popular, so people don't really know what to do against it. You kind of just get to do your own thing anyways. So if you're going from like 10 up to like 15, 16, that's what I played it from. I was already starting at 9 actually when I started this season, which was honestly like a week ago. And I just played this because I was just having so much fun with the new cards because I'm a Monsters player first. I do Monsters Skellige, or like my two factions that I play mainly. And then my third is probably Northern Realms, followed by Nilfgaard Scoia'tael. I play about the same, but I ended up playing Scoia'tael quite a bit, obviously because of the meta right now. So I'll go over that deck after. But yeah, what I actually did was I just run Arid here because he's honestly just my favorite Monsters leader. He has tons of options. Like, you have so many things you can do with him because you can just summon any Wild Hunt unit. He's just such a beast. I ran Woodland Spirit because it's a relic and it gets the bonus from Weavis Incantation here. Caretaker's also a relic, so he also gets the buff, and he does Graveyard Hate, which is great for Skellige, who was really big at the time, because you would just take their bears. Nilfgaard, you can also mess with, like Alchemy Nilfgaard, you can take their Assassin, but honestly, the Assassin doesn't do anything for you, and then they can technically just medic it, so they can just take it back. Weavis Incantation, you basically need to play because she strengthens your units by 2, which are going to be mainly all your relics here. Relics, that you can make different types of monsters. Relics. Cyclops I use to actually thin. I can destroy one of my creatures, and then yeah, I mean, obviously you take stuff off their board, and it honestly puts like my Wild Hunt Hounds or my Drowners, so my Slizzard can actually pull it out. Because what I do is I'm actually don't focus on consuming in this deck. I just use the Cyclops to put like a Wild Hunt Hound into the graveyard. I Slizzard. I thin my deck by 2 cards because I bring out the Wild Hunt Hound and an extra one of my Frosts. Because I still do run Frost in this deck, because you're going to find out that not many people are running Weatherclear right now. No one really is running Weatherclear right now, so Arid Frost, and this is basically just Frost mixed with Relics. It's really just Relics, but I'm going to leave Frost in it because Wild Hunt Hounds are amazing, and Arid has still things he can do with it. You could replace Monster Nest for Iris or something like that, because honestly, Iris is still really strong. With Aridin especially, because you can make a Wild Hunt Warrior, deal damage for 3, and still boost all your units. The rest of it I feel is plenty self-explanatory. if you had any more questions, I could fill in for you and I could respond to the comments. But I feel like that one's pretty self-explanatory. You know, you just buff up your relics. They're all much stronger now, and you play them. Kind of like a full test thing going on there. The second one I did was actually, it's not my deck. Arrakis Queen. Let me pull it up, actually. Yeah, Arrakis Queen is obviously the consume leader that we do now because she's immune and she consumes units. I believe it's like the number 2 deck, actually, on Gwent DB. Yeah, Mill Consumed 4.5k MMR Dwarf Killer by Pawn Edir. So yeah, you can go ahead and look that up. I can leave links to it if we need it. But yeah, there's no guide in there. Basically, it's just like a self-explanatory deck. I'll explain it right here though, because it's a little tricky. Because it's not like your main consume deck with what's going on with the meta right now. Something to note though, I actually run Woodland Spirit in this deck. I did not run Avalok. 1, because I don't have it. 2, because Woodland Spirit is still really strong in my opinion. You still get a 5-drop, 6, 7, 8 from Wolves. I run Roach, so that's 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's a 12 power point drop. And then you still have your Fog that comes out. But I don't run Foglit. So it's 12, 14 power, because you're probably going to hit something for 2 unless there's armor or it's the only unit on the row and it's 1, which I don't know why you would really put Fog there. So it's still a 14 drop because you're going to pull out Roach and thin your deck, and I just think it's pretty good. I understand that people run Avalok in this deck because you're trying to thin out dwarves, which makes sense, but I still like it, so I was running it anyways just as a replacement. I'm sure you could run Muzzle or anything like that. Muzzle is not a dead card, so yeah, there's tons of replacements you could do for it. That's just what I did. Gel's just amazing monster card. I mean, you get to play a gold card or you get to play a silver card and it puts the other one on top of your deck. So, I mean, it's just amazing. Regis consumes, and also you get to take out some of those pesky dwarves out of their decks, like what the dwarf support's going to be using. What is his name? You know, I can remember his name right now. It's the Dwarf Agitator, and he pulls out a copy of a dwarf. So if they have no dwarfs in their deck, maybe they have a few in their hand, they can't make copies of anything. Also, Barclay won't be able to pull out anything out of the deck. So yeah, Regis is actually pretty fun and pretty cool. Also, it boosts all your neckers. Imperial Manticore, strong 13 drop. Really nothing to say there. Good consume target, I guess, because it makes your thing fat. Makes you more susceptible to Scorch, but I mean, just a strong drop regardless. Toad Prince, amazing card. Also around consume and mulligan. Algul, once again. Graveyard Hate. You can just eat those pesky bear soldiers that, you know, Skellige's still playing. Yeah, so consume a bronze or silver unit, so it's not just bronzes. You can eat Axeman Skellige's high priority target, the silver card Darien, I think it is, Darrigan, where he gains 1 for each damage he does. If you just consume that, it completely weakens Axeman Skellige, which you'll be seeing a little more often now probably. Shadow pulls out a Death Wish unit. I use it to pull out my Necker. Necker Warriors makes more of my Neckers. Forktail just consumes 2 targets. Still a strong drop too because he's just a base 8 unit. Vran also is just a consume engine, making your Neckers stronger. Neckers, because you want them to come out at the end. And Slizzards make more Neckers. Honestly, if you run out of Neckers in your hand, you can consume 1 from the graveyard and then add a Necker and onto the board. So yeah, basically you just consume. You have pretty strong bodies here. I've seen a lot of people running the Arrakis Behemoth, and then, you know, they consume and then pull all of them from their deck. That's completely viable in a strong deck. If you want to mod your consume deck, feel free. Consume's pretty fun right now. You know, I missed playing consume, honestly, so I'm glad it's seeing a little bit more time. Basic spy deck, John Calviet, but this one is actually, I'm running Siri Nova just because I seem to have a lot of luck with the card. If you do win your rounds and you're going to play last, not many people have answers to it because it's just basically a 25-point drop. There's just nothing you can really do or say to it. Vilgefortz, Mina Kuhorn, Ranfairn, Siri Nova, Cantarella. Asira I use to put, or I guess that's her name, I use that to put Roach back in the deck. Joaquin, Usted guard. I mean, he's just amazing. Like, if you are running Nilfgaard, you're probably running Joachim because he's just ridiculous. Roach, good for a tempo swing, and then I end up putting her back in the deck with Esire to make sure that I have her for round 3 for probably Vogelforts or Mino, who's going to come out. Van Hamar, amazing card. Clear Skies, Frost, or Overdose. I mean, he's just good. Duh. I mean, if you're playing Spy, Nilfgaard, you're going to be playing this. Infiltrator makes more spies. Alba Cavalry and Imperial Brigade are the round 1s you're going to be playing. You're going to do that, and you're going to be pulling them out with recruits, which are going to just make your round 1s actually pretty competitive. You're going to be able to at least keep up with some of the dwarves, because they have just such crazy tempo. The Novice I use to make Mahaka Male, just to boost my 3 rows by like 12, so like 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, or is it more than that? No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right. 4, 8, 12, 13, 14. It's just a 14-point play, and it thins your deck. Medic I use to bring out my emissaries from the graveyard, and then you thin your deck more. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you fought Spy Nilfgaard, then you know how it works. I run Jan Calviet. I think it used to be John. I don't know why it's Jan now. I run him for the options to be able to look further into my deck and really just bring what I need for the situation. I see people run a Mirror and Spy Nilfgaard. I get it. I just think Jan Calviet's just easier. And then for my last deck I'm going to explain here. This is the last one I used in like my last wins to push me over to 20. Scoia'tael is just insane right now. So I've seen a lot of people running different Scoia'tael decks, and this is the one I used, and I was actually besting majority of Scoia'tael that I was fighting with it. So Dwarven Agitators, you want to bring out copies of your dwarves. Usually it's going to be a Skirmisher or a Mahakam Guard. There's really no other dwarves I use. Because I'm running Siri Nova in this deck, make sure that you keep at least one of the guards or one of the Skirmishers in your deck. I haven't started using Gwent Tracker, but this is one of those decks where it would definitely come in handy. I just got really used to being able to know what I had and what I hadn't played. But if you're not used to it, Dwarven Agitators making copies of the dwarves and seeing it in the graveyard can really throw you off if there's still one in there. Especially since Barclay brings out the dwarf, doesn't make a copy of it, but literally pulls it from your deck. So you got to be careful about that. Vryhead Officers, great mulligans. If there's something I didn't need, I would just play that mulligan, and it's just a strong drop. Usually I would do that with Yavin, or Yavin, which is just really strong because he becomes an 18 drop, and then I can still pull out Yavin with Brewer. So Brewer is great because you can just play any silver card, and so usually it would be him. Or it would be Barclay to make sure that I'd have him for Hattori, who was already in my hand, or even sometimes Ida, because I had the Weather Clear that I needed, so I ran her for Weather Clear, and she does Elzor's Thunder. She's just an amazing silver. Summoning Circle, pretty self-explanatory. If you play your Spy, they play their Spy, you Summoning Circle their Spy. It's just what the meta is right now. As frustrating as it is, it really does help, because when you win round 1 and you're going to be pushing for it, it's in round 2. If you don't have Yavin in your hand, or you didn't mulligan him, then you can just Brewer, play him, and then, make sure you grab your Summoning Circle. Or in some cases, I would just use it to grab my Royal Decree, which would honestly pretty much guarantee I always had my golds every round. Yorveth Meditation needs no explanation. He's amazing. He's one of the best cards right now, in my opinion. He's just great, and that's why he's premium, because he's just a beast. Ithline, I would play her in Tremors, and she's freaking bonkers, guys. Like, she's only 2 power right now, but my my Vryhead Dragoons and Farseers, my Farseer would just get boosted. My Vryhead Dragoons would just be boosting my cards, and she would get pretty fat, actually. And then Hawker Smuggler, if you're ever going last, you always want to play her first, because it's going to help keep you up in the tempo, especially against the Scoia'tael decks that are playing multiple dwarves. That they come out, the Mahakam Volunteers, I believe it's called, and they're all going to come out, and they're going to get like 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 power, right? Because Dwarven Agitator makes a copy. and it pulls them all out. But then you get 1 power from each of them, and it just helps keep you in that game. It helps keep you in the round against them, so they don't get too far ahead of you, and it works. Um, Polly can just make a 12 dwarven skirmisher. He can even bring back Barclay, but he cannot bring back any of your dwarven agitators. But yeah, do that, and that's going to be basically your combo. If not, you can Hattori into Barclay, and then you just pull him out. You can Hattori into Polly. No, he's doomed. Sorry, you cannot. I was wondering why I never did that. But yeah, so Hattori can bring back a dwarven agitator, but make sure you do that first before Polly brings out Barclay, because he pulls out the dwarves like I was warning about. Yeah, and then Ithling Tremors is just bonkers, dudes. Like, there were some times where I didn't even grab Siri Nova, and I just grabbed Ithling with the Royal Decree, and I won because of that. Because she just hit so hard, guys. So, yeah, that's how I got to rank 20, and those were the decks I was running. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'll answer it when I can. If you want to watch me stream, I stream at twitch.tv/ Bushido Viking. I'd be happy to see you. I have a great little Gwent community over there, and I'm always down to talk about Gwent. I'm always down to host you after I'm done, because I just pick a random Gwent streamer at the time, and I've met some pretty cool people that way. So, hope you have a great night, and I'll see you when I see you. Have a good one.